It's morning edition. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. Well, given that daylight saving time will soon turn our days and nights inside out again soon, we will again be in desperate need of light. So we are thrilled to report that La Luz, the light, is heading our way. This week, October 31st. Wow, October 31st. La Luz is at the Ninth Street parallel at the Knitting Factory in Boise. Shana Cleveland is here. That is Shana Cleveland of La Luz. Good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for reminding me about daylight
Oh,
savings.
well, to that, I'm taking a leap here. Do change of seasons or cycles of nature resonate with you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm really inspired by nature in general, and where I
Hmm.
live, I'm surrounded by nature. I write pretty much all my songs outside. So yeah, I
Wow.
think that the change of seasons definitely sneaks into my writing.
We have to talk about your album, News of the Universe. I think it's fair to say, even a casual fan can say there's an urgency in that album, sometime a bit of panic, but then there's this lyric I have to ask about. I was in a dream, but now I can see that change is the only law.
News of the universe states it clearly, change is the only law. Don't be afraid.
So I was in a dream, but now I can see that change is the only law. What's behind that lyric?
Well, for me, that lyric is really about my experience being diagnosed with cancer. Gosh, two years ago,
Hmm.
and kind of coming out the other side of that. And I think that when really traumatic events happen in life, it's there's this opportunity to start over and to sort of reevaluate the way that you've been doing things. And for me, that diagnosis was something that really caused a lot of changes in my life and caused me to have to come to a new sort of acceptance of the reality of change.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that in a large part, this album is all about change for me.
I'm actually interested in your recovery and how that informs your art.
So when we wrote these songs, it was during a time when we had had to cancel a lot of tours. So our the album before this was self-titled, so it's just called La
Right.
Luz, and
Right.
that album came out, and we had had all this touring scheduled to go out and play those songs, and we had had to cancel, the bulk of it when I got diagnosed, and I kept sort of pushing things back to the last minute. I was like, maybe I can still do these shows, and
Wow.
then it just became clear. I was like, no, I'm gonna have to, even if things go really well, which they did, I was gonna need a lot of time to recover from surgery. And so it was a time when the surgery was over, the results came back really positive, and it basically became clear that I was going to be able to, get out of this and move forward with my life and sort of put it behind me for the most part. But, there was just all this time that I had scheduled to be on tour, and our manager at the time suggested that we just get together and do some demos just to kind of stay busy. And so this album was written during that time when I was sort of really freshly coming out the other end of this traumatic time and just sort of trying to wrap my head around it and make sense of it all.
And my head spins when I consider the tour that you're in. I mean,
Yeah.
the European, I mean, London, Paris, Amsterdam, right? Brooklyn, and then here in the States and in New York and Kentucky up to Montreal, Chicago. Now you're west, Salt Lake, coming here to Boise, Portland, Tacoma, then up to Vancouver, San Francisco, LA. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a pretty ambitious tour. I feel I'm excited that we're at sort of the last leg of it. So we saved the West Coast for last, and yeah, it's been wild, but it's been incredible.
I have to ask you about your guitar cable. I remember some time ago, I remember hearing you talk about how at the end of a show, your cable is this gnarly, twisted mess, but you have some relationship with that cable that keeps you from tripping over it, in spite of all the spins, and that keeps you from getting tangled and all that. I mean, it is kind of magical that you don't get wrapped up in that.
Yeah, I can't explain it to be honest. I I don't know. I feel like a snake charmer with my guitar cable. I just sort of go wherever I'm gonna go and hope it turns out all right and I don't just end up in a snarled mess. But yeah, it always seems to work out. So knock on wood.
I know the cliche is asking artists about performing on New Year's Eve, but I've got to ask about performing on Halloween. But that's got to be insane.
Oh man, I'm so excited. I we've done a few Halloween shows, but yeah, it's fun. I wanna have a costume contest. I want to do a
Right.
soul train line with everybody in their costumes. Yeah, I'm not like a big holidays person, but I do really enjoy Halloween and just the idea that everybody can just express themselves in ways that they don't feel comfortable to normally.
But holidays will creep up on you, especially now that you're a mom, right? I mean, holidays are that, just constantly just knocking on your door and
Kids love
Halloween, right?
holidays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And for all the right reasons, for all the right reasons.
Yeah, it has been fun. I've had to like come out of my Scrooge tendencies a little bit since becoming a mom. I have to sort of embrace the holidays. That I have actually really enjoyed that about motherhood.
Lovely. Shana Cleveland and La Luz, October 31st, Halloween at the Knitting Factory. I must tell you, from a ridiculously old, very white male, I have to tell you what a thrill this has been. I'm a huge fan. And great, great good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you, George.
Take care.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.